Good morning, everyone, and welcome to T3 Handicapping. Hey, everybody, this is Chris from T3 Handicapping, and I'm here to bring you a full card analysis on Friday, November the 26th. It is Black Friday. I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving and that you're ready to fire away at one of the many tracks today. We'll be going over the full card from Churchill here today. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been a supporter for a long time, thank you for your continued support. Let's get into Friday's card. Before we do, as always, you can find us at t3handicapping.weebly.com. That's where you can find a lot of information, our track profiles. You can find our products there, as well as links to these videos and our social channels. You can find us always here on YouTube, either from streaming or on-demand events. You can find us on Facebook, T3 Handicapping, and on Twitter at Handicapping T3. Many of the channels to get there. Just a reminder, we are running a Black Friday special today, a really great deal. Whether you're a new customer or a returning customer, it doesn't matter. If you go in and you purchase our monthly membership today on Black Friday, and you put in the message for seller the word Clark in honor of today's Clark Handicap, I will extend your monthly membership from 30 days out to 60 days out. So if you're a returning member, your membership will go through the end of November. Yours will just kick off on December 1st, and you will actually get coverage for both December and January, so you'll run all the way through there. If you're a new member, you'll get 60 days from the date of purchase, so you'll get 60 days from today for just the price of $10. So it's a really great deal there. Also, if you mention us on Twitter or Facebook, I will give you a coupon code worth an additional 20% off. That means that if you mention us on Facebook or Twitter today, make sure you put us in there as well. But if you do that, I'll send you a coupon for 20% off. That means you can make your purchase today for $8 and get 2 months. So a pretty great deal there. I strongly encourage you to take advantage of those opportunities and spread the word about T3 Handicapping. But again, today and today only, you can get 2 months for the price of one. The nice thing is that will cover you all the way through the Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream Park, which we will have coverage of as well. So with that, let's go ahead and let's jump into today's card from Churchill Downs. So as we go through here, I went through and I did my handicapping. One thing I found really successful is to use my numbers and to really mix that. This is a total computer algorithm. This spits out basically just what the computer says fits. And sometimes that makes sense, and sometimes it leaves something to be desired, especially in the lighter races where horses maybe have, just one or two starts. That can be a little confusing. So what I've really started to do is I've started to use a couple trusted handicappers that I trust and respect. I use my ratings from the computer, and I use my own just like old school handicapping methodology. I put those together to help me create sort of these grades. And I just find that getting those multiple inputs has really increased my winners over the last couple of days, just because of the fact that I'm not solely relying on one algorithm. I'm kind of hitting things from all different angles, and I found that to be very helpful. So I encourage you to do the same. This first race, class level 15, 8.5 furlongs on the dirt, looks to have a moderate pace. I really like Southerner. Southerner came out as the top-rated horse here for me at 4-1. That's good because that looks like it's going to be the third choice in the wagering based on the morning line. I do think that the two ahead of it in the morning line, My Favorite Uncle and Seminole Justice, are both reasonable players. I like the speed of My Favorite Uncle, and I do think My Favorite Uncle is going to be close when it comes to the pace. But I do think Southerner may be out in front and maybe low in speed, and if it's moderate, that may be problematic, especially the way the track has been playing. Outworkin' and Cool Runnings would be sort of my next grouping. I like Cool Runnings trying to get to the front, although I'm concerned that it doesn't have the pace to do so. And then the one Outworkin' will be out towards the pace. Cool Runnings will be sitting off and trying to come late, and you can see that here in those numbers for the race flow, although I'm concerned how far behind Outworkin' that horse is. So that's kind of how I see the first race. I think this one's actually pretty wide open. One thing to keep an eye on with Churchill Downs is There was a lot of rain yesterday. The track was sloppy. They didn't get a lot of rain towards the end of the card. And so it'll be interesting to sort of see how the track plays, to know if it's going to be um, maybe a drying track, because what I've found is that when things start to dry out a little bit, it tends to favor kind of an outside closing move, whereas when it tends to be sloppy, inside speed can still be okay. So just kind of keep an eye on that, because that may upgrade horses like the 7 that want to sit off and jump late from the outside. Maybe even the 5 horse could be benefited from that. I know we won't have a real good indicator of that going into that race, but I think if you can have that sort of in the back of your mind and you see just a huge performance from both the 5 and the 7, you might want to keep an eye on how the track plays the rest of the day. Now, one of the things that you're going to find here throughout this video is that occasionally I put stars. And what I found is that when I do my rating system and I put my 3 different numbers together, computer rating, my handicapping, and handicappers that I trust, I end up with a sort of an aggregate pick number, kind of a pick consensus number. And what I've found is that horses that have a 3-point gap tend to be much higher percentage winners than horses that just rate out ABC. So when you see that star, it means that there's a 3-point gap between that horse and the next horse. In this case, the 3 Dark Timber, class level 5, going 6 furlongs, slow pace. We've got a front runner. This is my single horse. I think the 5 and the 1, Belfast Boy and Oncoming Train, they both rate out just fine. I'd be more inclined to use Belfast Boy than Oncoming Train. But honestly, I don't really need either of them. To me, this race goes through the 3. I think the 3 is going to win, and that's good enough for me. So that's how I'm taking it there. If you were going to add in a price horse, I do like Altered a little bit, coming from the middle of the pack, to potentially put up a big number here, and to give me some juice in the vertical wagers. But I don't really see that horse as being one that can win unless the track is just playing that way. Moving on here. Now, this one you'll see in race number 3. It's a class level 15, going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Again, we project to have a slow pace, but this is typical of races. We've talked about this in past videos, where you see a lot of these U-type runners. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. Not a ton, but enough. These are still pretty lightly raced horses, and so you're going to see a lot more unpredictable pace scenarios, because you just don't have that many inputs to determine that the pace is going to be super fast. For me, the top of the market seems like the right place to be. I like the 8-3. I've got them well clear of the others in this one. I like the 3 who's going to be on the lead. I actually think the 8 is one that is listed as sort of a mid-pack type, but that's by virtue of where it ran. But if you look at the numbers that it put up, I think this one with a more moderate pace will actually be on the lead as well. So look for number 8 to be much closer than it was in its last event. The number 6, November Rose, and the number 1, Peyton's College, are certainly also interesting horses to use. But like I said, when it comes to the win pool, I'm going to be mostly through 8 and 3. The 5 is interesting, 7-2 on the morning line. Rates out in a couple categories, just didn't quite hit the board for me. I'm not quite sure what to do with that one. If it's taking money pre-race, I will definitely include. If it's not, then I won't. But based on numbers and selections that I could come up with through my handicapping, I don't see a way for that one to get there, but sometimes it's better to be on side with the smart money. Race number 4, we're going class level 8 furlongs. This one's also on the dirt because we're at Churchill for the fall meet here, so everything's on dirt. We've got a really fast pace, a short field, but a really fast pace. It's projecting to be 20 out of 24, which is pretty solid. That should be a good clip. So when I see that, a lot of times I want to make sure that I have plenty of different options to go off of. So I've got the number 6, the number 4, and the number 5. So I've got a mid-pack horse and 2 stalkers as sort of my top selections. I like Strong Silent as sort of my next play, just because it is the only confirmed front runner. I'm a little concerned that as things start to go, If everybody is content on just stalking and pouncing, then no one's going to actually press the leader, and that could allow Strong Silent to get out there. Certainly, the speed figures show that this one can be competitive at those numbers, could get the best of race flow. A lot of strong signals towards that one. And then I think Perfect Choice as well. The only one I'm really leaving off my ticket is Powder River. And, some people might have PTSD after leaving one horse off a ticket in the past. If you need to include that one, nobody's without a chance here. I mean, that one actually grades out as an A minus here for me. I think this is about as close to an all race in a 6-horse field as you can go, because there's just so many different ways for this race to set up. Moving to race number 5. Another slow pace, but again, don't let that fool you. We've got a lot of unknowns here, so you're going to kind of have to piece that together as you see fit. Class level 13, we're going 6 furlongs. I've got 136 here. Super Sport is going to be close to the lead. Ana Volante is going to be coming off the pace, but again, we see race flow and pace suggest that this one can actually get there and be much closer. With these lightly raced horses, you have to just be aware of that. The last one is Little Blaze at 10-1. That to me is my big value here in this race. I do also like Encouraging at 3-1 as sort of my unknown because of some of these things here that you can see just doesn't really have a confirmed running style yet. I think that one's definitely one you want to have on side, but I'm going to be through 136 primarily. Race number 10, we've got 8 furlongs. I like the 8 here. It's that simple. I'll use the 9 and 6 underneath, but for me, it's the 8. Humbrazo ran into a fast pace last time and should be tough to stop here. The morning line maker got it right there. Not much to say. Class level 19, 7 furlongs, really slow pace. Again, though, seeing a lot of these unknowns. So we'll take that with a grain of salt, and we won't hold being a closer too much against somebody here at Churchill. For me, Epicurean is the one that I'm going to go with as my top selection. Had it rated out as 3 points better than everybody else. Palm Court is also interesting and certainly will be forwardly placed, so I want to use that one as well. Jones Way and Cuzzy Wuzzy are both horses that rated out, decent in terms of speed figures, could get there. I don't really have a strong opinion on any of the unknown horses. So in this spot, I know I have the 10 as being 3 points to the good. I'm probably going to be using the 10 and the 5 for sure. And then maybe the 2-3. The problem with using 10-5 exclusively is I've got the top 2 on the morning line and it's not even close. So I may even go, as I'm putting my actual tickets together, 10-2-3, just to make sure that either my opinion is correct or that I pop some value, but it's really hard to say. I don't feel entirely confident that the 10 is going to destroy the 5 in the way that the numbers might say that it could. Race number 8 of 12, going class level 8. So, solid horses here. 7 furlongs, turtle style. So not going to be very quick up front. And I've got 2 and 4 who both appear to be well clear on pace. 7-6, that's Enraged and Sol de Sur, will also probably be part of the equation as well. They are not very deep on the morning line, so I'm going to just cut my tickets off at the 2-4. If I lose, I lose. If I win, great. Race number 9, we're going class level 5, 9.5 furlongs. We've got that moderate pace. For me, this is all about Patagonia. Patagonia is a closer, which is not great. That's probably why the 5-1. But to me, on paper, this is just the best horse. And sometimes when you have the best horse, I think you just use it. Allege is also interesting, and that one is going to be more forward. Going further down the ticket, Farmington Road is interesting, and then Goalie is the other one that I'm interested in. I got to be honest, the one that of these that I'm least likely to use is Farmington Road. Farmington Road was sort of a buzz horse whenever it was running in the sort of on like the Derby Trail. Kind of popped a couple big performances and was sort of the sneaky pick. And I think sometimes you get these, old names that people remember from, Derby Trails gone by or whatever. And they just get overbet and not bet based on what their current form is. And so that's something that I'm very leery of with somebody like Farmington Road. The horse is still very competitive in this spot. I'm just worried that the name is going to kill all of the value that I might have had there. If the horse drifts up from its 4-1, I'm all over it, but I don't see that happening. Um, this race is extremely hard, as you can see from my about 12 C selections that I have here. Um, I really wanted to go away from Milliken. I think that Milliken here is not a great pick at 12 to 1, or at 4 to 5, the coming from the 12 post. I just do not like that spot at all. Tis Rye Time is a bomb. I don't even think that one's going to draw in, but did rate out highest on my numbers. Um, the 9 and the 8 here, you've got Injunction and Flags Up. I think these ones are really interesting, and I wanted to make a case for just throwing them on the A line, but based on, like I said, the numbers where they came out, that's how it worked out. Now, I will tell you that Milliken did not make. A max score on my scale is 9 points. Milliken only came out to be 7, so like the bottom of the A grades. So I do think this one is vulnerable. Do I think this is the best horse in the race? Probably pretty close. I would definitely have to say this is one of the top three. But do I think it's worth taking sub even money in a field of 12 horses? I don't. So I'm gonna want to be inclusive here. This is my A horse because it's my best selection. If I had to pick one horse here, I would definitely take this one. I don't really like the horse as a favorite. And so my tickets are going to be much stronger, actually, probably through these two B horses. And then one C horse that I wanted to point out that I just really like is this number 7, Gins Burned. This one's coming over from turf, and I think has run into some hot paces and could be really good there. So keep an eye on that one. Tough race for sure. 12, 9, 8, 13, 10, 2, 3, 6, and 7 would all be horses that I'd want to have on my tickets. Race number 11, really good, obviously. This is the Clark Handicap. We're going 9 furlongs, moderate pace. For me, this one goes through Maxfield and Dr. Post. It's that simple. I think Maxfield is the best. I just worry sometimes that Maxfield likes to dangle off too far behind the pace and not get to the front. And that's why my B horse is Midnight Bourbon, who we know is going to want to be forwardly placed, although I've been down the Midnight Bourbon train before, and I've always been left at the wrong stop. So I'm not entirely convinced on that one. I do think Happy Saver could be ready to run sort of back to some of the hopes that they had for this horse early. So that's one to consider. But if I were using my rating scale on this one, I think you would definitely have to be mostly through the 8-3. And I think this is a situation where if you believe in Maxfield, you probably have to single Maxfield. I know there's some other options around. Midnight Bourbon will take a lot of money. Dr. Post will take a lot of money. King Fury, I think, could even get some sneaky money as well. There's a lot of ways that the money could go. It's hard because by this point we'll already be into our picks. But I think Maxfield is the best horse. And then after that, I would have Dr. Post as the best horse. Dr. Post sometimes gets himself into all kinds of trouble. So even though I have this gap, I think I'm going to want Midnight Bourbon just because the way Churchill plays, goofy things happen, and then you just run away with it. We saw that yesterday with Envoutante. Maybe we can just take advantage of that. And then in our final race today, race number 12, another big card today, I really like an upset in this one. I like Pirate Rick. Pirate Rick to me is a horse that provides tons of value, although I'm going to be using all of my top selections here because I like Pirate Rick on the front, even though it's a fast pace. I think this one could get out and could just be clear, has run against some tough competition, and has put up some decent numbers. I also really like One Fast Cat, who will also be close to the pace, and Mish, who's another one that will be close to the pace. I'm a little worried about Mish's. I'm a little worried about the post position coming all the way out from 11. So those would be my A and B horses. My C's would be Extreme, Greener Pastures, and the number 2 Brew Crew, who I like to at least get up and find the number somewhere. You can see a pretty wide open race. I've got all but On Your Mark scheduled to at least be in with a shot. So you're definitely going to want to go deep here. So that's our quick kind of lightning round rundown of the Black Friday card from Churchill Downs. Like I said, it's a fun day of racing. There's going to be lots of things going on. I hope everybody had a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving. Don't forget our Black Friday special. Just make sure that you put the message to seller as Clark, and I will extend your membership an extra 30 days. And don't forget to mention us on Facebook or Twitter for an additional 20% off. Thank you so much for your continued support of T3 Handicapping. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope we hear a lot more from you. Have a great Black Friday at Churchill or any of the cards that you may be playing. Cash those tickets.